Hello and welcome to Family DynamiKs. I'm Katherine.
I'm Liz.
I'm Ed.
And John.
Okay, so we did, in fact, do an episode about the most recent family dinner that was going to happen, but now has happened. So I
You
thought...
mean the Sunday dinners at Mom's house?
Yes, the Sunday dinner,
The first Sunday of the month dinner.
Correct.
Which we've been very off track with because of COVID and life. So Mom decided to start them up again on
4th of July weekend, yeah.
Which, I mean...
Well, technically, we would have done it the month before, but I think she was occupied that Sunday already. Or what was the deal? We had already decided to push it because so many people wouldn't be available.
Meaning for June?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Mom needs to be available since it's at
That
her
is
house.
true.
So I don't
Partly.
remember if she might have been out of town. Was she at her sister's house?
No, that was too long ago. There was some quote-unquote good reason. I can't remember what it was now.
Well, I was just thinking we could talk about that, and we could talk about what everybody did for 4th of July. Just kind
why
of
don't
like
we catch up with each other?
Ooh.
Catch up with a K.
Oh, no. I was afraid you were going to say catch
What?
up with a K.
A
So-
Family DynamiKs catch-up episode.
Yes, I love
it. Okay, so...
That's a new thing, trademark.
Okay, so from now on, are you saying that if we do like a topical driven, like this is what everybody's been up to, it's going to be a catch-up episode?
Yes,
I like this
think
idea.
I just coined
Okay.
something brilliant.
I think it is brilliant. I can't agree more. Coin something brilliant.
All right, so
Okay.
you guys have to talk about it. I actually, because it was a holiday weekend, I had plans and I was not in attendance.
That is
but
true.
I sent my child.
Right. Yeah.
We did call an audible. We did have 2 audibles in the last... Well,
It
actually
was like
3.
the last hour.
In the last hour to 2 hours before, we had 3 additional people, which was fun.
Was that not
Question mark?
supposed to be?
Stretch out the chicken.
Nah, we already anticipate
Yeah.
there's more need for chicken than we ever think.
I mean, look, I want to not talk because everything is a disaster. But yeah, these two, Ed and Granberry, decide to do double chicken plus thighs anyway when it was going to be like 8 people. So the fact that 3 more people show up ended up being fine.
Well, initially...
She freezes
yeah.
a lot of chicken. She uses the bones to make soup, so it doesn't hurt to cook extra because she's going to eventually need chicken, and then we don't have to cook it again.
Okay, so at some point there was a
Lord.
group text, and this is why you know it was 8 people. Is
First
that
of all,
right?
there are
Yeah,
way
okay.
too many family group texts going on.
Well, yeah. And there's always a new one that's starting up, it seems
Yeah, 'cause
like.
it's some different combination of
Right.
people.
I certainly didn't help. I upgraded our mom's phone in the last month, so there's been a whole learning curve for her, and also it got switched from Android to iPhone, so that's a whole cafangus that she can't figure out. And there are always going to be texting the wrong groups, but
for sure.
It's been real good this last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I got in trouble for not including someone who previously was annoyed and didn't want to be part of family group texts. So I'll get into that. But so
Okay, so
make a note and I'll bring that up.
All right, so group texts, yes. So initially there was a group text that was like, hey, this is when the family dinner is happening. Who can maybe come? Who can maybe not? Liz, you were an early not coming vibe. Virginia and her family were out of town on a camping trip.
Yep.
So that was like a planned, everybody knew that. I think I responded that, oh God, this is so ridiculous. Okay, so I responded that I would probably be there and bring the kids. I never volunteer that Eric is going to come because I never want him to feel obligated. So I don't know, whatever. So I didn't say Eric, yes or no. I didn't even mention him. And then I also said I could bring salad or something else. I think I volunteered salad or
We are
chips
now
and
going to
salsa.
relive the first 45 minutes of the family dinner where Katherine talks about the salad.
Okay.
You are the salad. That is usually your go-to.
Okay. Well, so here's what happened.
Bringer to family events.
All right, let's just put this part of the story to bed at this point. So I put this in this group text, and the reason I'm thinking of it is because later I couldn't find the group text that I even responded to about.
I'm saying there are too many of them.
It's ridiculous. Okay, so apparently there was some anticipation or expectation that I was bringing salad, but I had completely forgotten about it because it was also 2 days before Sarah's birthday. So we decided we were going to bring cake. So I got super fixated on like, well, we're bringing cake. I mean, who even cares what we bring? No one has gotten back to me and said, yes, please bring salad or whatever. At least in my mind, no one had said that. But apparently Grandmary had responded, yay. to my.
Wait.
I could bring salad or chips and salsa, but that was like the yay was supposed to be yes, do that. But
There's no way it was an actual yay. It was probably one of her little emoji
maybe.
animals making a yay sign, and you don't even know half the time what she's referring to. So
It could have
I
been that.
bet it was not an actual yay bring salad. It was like one of her small teddy bears doing like a big jump up.
I can envision which one you mean already because she does like that.
That's one of her go-tos.
Well, look,
I don't think that's a teddy bear. Isn't it a dog? Like a Shiba
I think
it
Inu or
might be a
whatever?
dog. I don't know.
Unclear.
Regardless, I was no longer under the impression that I was bringing salad. And then when I arrived, and she was like, "Weren't you supposed to bring salad?"
And chips.
Wait, I definitely put an or in there. I was not planning on doing both for
No.
sure. And then apparently I was not really planning on doing it enough that I even thought of it on the day.
So wait, John, you guys were carrying on salad, chips, and salsa.
Appetizers.
John
and
wanted none of it
A
anyway.
side dish. Yeah.
John is like over there nodding like, yeah,
But you
don't bring anything.
But John, you did anticipate this coming though.
Well, look, this is communication is challenging for everyone in every circumstance. So, yes, I wanted nothing, but then all day Sunday when we were quote unquote not planning the family dinner, and then in the last so we kept saying to each other,
Don't worry about it. Catherine's bringing salad.
don't worry about it because we weren't going to do something else, but that is happening.
Oh, God.
And so then you're like, oh, well, that is happening. As if someone had done more than a 2-piece text communication that was not actually confirmed.
Well, it's also the first time we've done this in a while, so we're a little rusty on the what means you're doing it or what was a question.
Right. And I think
also without Liz there, no salad doesn't matter. The queen isn't there to judge us.
No, I'm not judging. I can't handle just chicken and potatoes. We need some greenery.
something. Yeah, it was wasn't it like multiple weeks before that this text even happened, which is why I couldn't even find it after. Well, anyway, so I show up with, first of all, we drive over and Eric does decide to come at the last minute. So Eric is driving. We're all in the car.
I am surprised he would come because he loves air conditioning.
That's true.
And there's not a guarantee that Mom's house on July 1st, summer in the San Fernando Valley, that the house is going to be a cool, crisp 71.
It wasn't. So.
It will never be a cool, crisp 71 unless it's 60 degrees outside. Then maybe.
Then maybe.
So that's why I'm like, I can't believe Eric risked it. I mean, of all the times to come. We've been out of practice for like 2 or 3 years. It's a hot summer evening. And Eric's like, yeah, let me go and see what a kerfuffle fuck this is. Okay, great.
And I even offered, which is my big move, 2 cars. Because, that way he's not.
No way did he do 1 car.
He did 1 car.
What?
I was
He
like, this is
never
crazy.
does 1 car.
We haven't even gotten to the punchline yet. Liz.
Okay,
Just
so
wait.
Dying.
we're driving over. Eric is driving. We're all in 1 car. Of course, it was a Kafangas getting out of the house, blah, blah, blah. More than halfway there. And we realize we don't have the cake. So Eric gets to Grandmary's house, drops us off, comes in for like, what? Did he even come in? He didn't even come in. Okay. So we get to Grandmary's house and he literally turns around and leaves to go get the cake. So I have to come in and be like,
Was it just sitting on the counter?
yeah, we just forgot about it. We're like, whatever. I mean,
Yeah, we're not. It wasn't a full Killmond like it was still baking in the oven.
No.
It was done and ready. They just forgot.
Sarah is the queen of making this classic yellow cake with chocolate frosting in like a sheet pan thing. She does
Nice.
amazing job, and Eric has dubbed her like, this is your go-to move when it's Daddy's birthday, when you want to like do something nice for the family, make this cake.
Well, because it's she has taken over the torch from Eric's grandmother.
Right. It was the classic cake that his grandmother made. And it has to be, I think it's Duncan Hines. It's the Duncan Hines box mix. And then his mom has like the recipe for the chocolate frosting. It's like, a pound of butter, like 2 sticks of butter or whatever. And then powdered sugar and whatever.
So that was
let me
just
get the
sitting on the
instructions
counter.
clear. It's a pound of butter, then 2 sticks of butter.
Yeah, no, I was clarifying. I think
Lots of
a pound
butter.
of
That
butter.
sounded good to me.
I don't know. What,
Paula Dean, we're just
It's
going
a
to put a
butter
pound of
frosting.
butter and everything.
Oh, is it butter flavored butter frosting?
It's real good. Anyway, I am going to be in trouble because I don't really like it. It's too light of a cake for me. It's very airy. And I'm like, I like a denser cake. So they, of course, are like, you're insane, Mom, for not liking this cake. But they love this cake. Anyway, so yeah, she baked this cake. She's done it dozens of times, and it like was just sitting on the counter. So Eric leaves to go back to the house to get the cake. We come in, and immediately there is the salad kerfuffle of like, oh, you were supposed to bring salad. I was like, I was.
Chips and salsa.
Which don't even. And then I was like, oh, crap. And I literally felt bad for like, I don't know, the first hour apologizing and obsessing about it.
20 minutes of that was going through her phone looking for this text.
Yes. And trying to figure out, did I actually say I was going to bring it?
I was like, what is she doing in the living room? Like, I guess her and Grandma are just chatting it up. And then I realized, oh, no. She's looking at her phone doing this.
Well, I was looking for two things. I was looking through my phone for this text. And second, I was looking for, this is a weird thing that I do. I use these little packets. They're called wine filters. And it looks like a little tea bag.
Too, right?
And it's like an individually wrapped little
thing.
thing.
So much shit. What the,
I know.
What
okay,
so where'd you freaking find this?
So I like to have a glass of wine. Mm-hmm. It's a lovely little drink, and but I realized it was making my stomach upset.
Wait, wine. Tell me, what is this wine?
What is wine?
Have you heard of a lovely little drink?
I mean, I don't know. I always feel like a drink is too serious. So, like, if you have a glass of wine, it's more like, this is...
I literally did that last night.
It's just grapes.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to feel like, ooh, I'm having a scotch and soda. Like, what? No.
Yeah,
Not that I would even have that. But
where I poured myself a glass of wine and it felt like... It didn't feel as serious.
Yeah, it doesn't feel...
Well, we made pina coladas earlier.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Ethan had to have his virgin pina colada. And I got to tell you, they tasted exactly like you were in Hawaii. And of course, Ethan's like...
Wait, did you make it at home, you mean?
Yes.
Oh.
I went and bought... Because Ethan has discovered pina coladas and he loves them, but he thinks I spike them, which is like, no, a restaurant 100%
why would he, what?
He just... I don't know why. And I just said... We've been at a couple of restaurants and he's always like, do you think they have a pina colada? And you'll literally be at like In-N-Out and you're like, no.
In-N-Out.
That's like his go-to. Like, we'll be at Red Robin. Do you think a pina colada? Probably.
Well, when did, this is a Roman resort and whatever ridiculousness. When did this take over from just pineapple juice?
Yeah, because he likes pineapple juice. Because this is a trip to Catalina and Mark and I were just sitting there and you have a 14-year-old son who's just sitting there watching the two parents drink. You're like, oh, God, what are we going to do with you? So
we're trying to relax, have a beverage.
I said, you should try because you like pineapple juice as a pina colada. And he's like, what are you trying to do? They're going to spike my drink. I'm like, no, they're absolutely not going to serve you alcohol. But then smart mom goes, can I have a pina colada with the shot on the side? Because I thought if he doesn't like it, I'll dump it in there and I'll enjoy it. He really loved it.
So you just did the shot. No, I'm just kidding.
I think I did.
Oh my God.
We did something eventually.
Wait, what alcohol is in it? Rum?
Rum.
Oh, okay.
So now that's on his sort of, he'll ask for it, occasionally. But so I said, why don't we make them at home? I love them, but it's got to be real occasional because it's like a dessert.
I mean, Mark, what do you think? Why don't we just? Oh yeah, the great idea.
Yeah, why don't we just blend up some pina colada?
Don't you have to have a whole bunch of different ingredients, like coconut,
not
Mark
really.
likes the accoutrement.
No, so we had that yesterday was quite a day. So at 6:00, I was like, I kind of need something.
I need a pick me up.
So yeah, I was like, all right, it's Friday. Let's have a little cocktail. I'm like, Ethan, I have all the ingredients because it's like cream of coconut, which is in like a can.
A can?
Yes, it is.
I was gonna say, I was like, in my memorization of your kitchen, pantry, garage, I was like, I don't recall these ingredients sitting around.
No. So fast forwards, we had our delicious pina colada. Ethan, of course, like, is there rum in this? I'm like,
no,
for
Lord's
I
sake.
added mine after. You're so annoying. And then way later in the evening, like 9:00, we were going to watch something. And I was like, I can't pour myself another cocktail. I can't have a cocktail, but I could have a little glass of wine.
Doesn't it feel less serious? That's what I always.
But I'm not teabagging it like you. Okay. So what is this?
Well, first of all, don't say teabag. That sounds really like a whole different thing.
What is that what you're doing?
I'm not sure what flavor you're going for with that, but
at some point, I'm not sure when this happened. It was only within the last, 6 months or a year. It's fairly recent development. I was like, God, I always get like an upset stomach and then I have a hard time sleeping. And I didn't get a headache from wine, but I did feel like I didn't feel great.
Look, I mean, obviously, we're going to get to the point with this whole podcast, but wind it all the way back. I mean, come on. Like 8 years ago, you started realizing, like, man, red wine is not good for me.
Oh my God, that's so true. Oh God, thank God you're here.
You should know because you
I was
guys
say,
did that.
wasn't this whole evaluation? You're always like, I don't know how you
She figures it out.
I have a headache or a stomach ache. I do not try to figure it out because I don't want to know if it's ice cream. I don't want to know if it's cheese, and I don't want to know if it's wine.
I always do, yeah.
The good news is just keep mixing those up. You'll never know which one it was.
I mean, forget that it's Katherine. She went to one of our dogs had an issue, and she's like, I would start doing an elimination diet. I was like, you're out of your freaking...
When did I say that?
What?
I don't believe that.
What were the three things that you just listed in your lactose roulette that you're playing?
God, seriously. Okay, so what are these things you discovered for wine?
Okay, so John is right. Years ago, I had to stop drinking red wine because I was like, ugh, red wine is the worst. It's making me feel terrible, which I love red wine. Like a glass of a full-bodied red, very mellow with a
As
steak.
our friend Lainey
very
likes
good,
to say, just a beautiful big glass of red wine. A beautiful glass of wine.
Red wine is
open up
great.
just a beautiful bottle of wine, and just when we get back to the house,
just a beautiful glass of wine.
It's like there's been 12 drinks already. Could you it's 2 a.m. We don't need another bottle of wine.
Topper red wine.
Yeah, I have a very low tolerance to begin with, so I'm like a one drink person.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can handle. Okay, so anyway, John's right. Red wine had been cut out for a long time. And then white wine had basically taken over. Plus, I do this very questionable thing and I put a ton of ice in it. And I'm like, okay, I won't even say the other thing that I put in it. Okay, so.
The other two things, but go ahead.
Just leave me alone.
So Dr. Pepper.
No. Stevia.
Yeah, what do you do?
You put a little bit of stevia.
3 things, so that's one of them.
What do you mean?
Well, there's also just water.
Oh, well, I don't really do that anymore.
Yeah, in the white wine. And then lastly...
What is left of the wine?
And then lastly, there might just be like, well, I have this extra Zevia, cola. So let me just add that.
You're a mixologist. What's happening here?
Well, not that anyone else would want to drink
like a wine
what
spritzer.
I'm drinking. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, okay.
A flat wine spritzer.
Oh, God.
Okay.
And you're like, why am I getting a headache? Let me tell you.
That's not why. This
Okay,
is
fine.
okay. So somehow I get this idea, and I don't know, social media and the algorithms, they figure out things about you.
They're listening right now.
Somehow I got pointed in the direction of these wine filters.
But wait, I thought, wasn't there, or I think maybe you had heard about them, and then you were at some kind of appointment, and then it came, or was it, no, wasn't it, no, I think you were already using it, and there was a waitress that was like, this is genius.
Yes, oh God, that's so
but
embarrassing.
I thought, wasn't there earlier, yeah, it's true, you did bring it to a restaurant, but
I've done it multiple times.
Was there
embarrassing, but
an earlier part of the discovery of someone helping you, or no?
That I don't, not for the wine filters.
Yeah,
I can't
you did
remember.
it on your own.
I just figured it out. Okay. So also I'm a little bit of a cheapskate. So on Amazon, I was like, wine filters. And there's like a premium one that comes on like a little, it kind of looks like a plastic spoon. And then you put it in the wine glass and you leave it there for 5 minutes and you kind of stir it around and it absorbs all of the histamines and tannins. So if you're having a reaction to the histamines and tannins, which some wines are low tannin, which is why white wine was less of a problem than red wine, I believe. I don't know, whatever. But white wine was still not great. I was still like, I would get almost like a weird dizziness, not even from the alcohol. I think it was more of an allergic reaction. Anyway, but I was still drinking wine, so whatever. I figured this out, and I find these not super less expensive, but slightly less expensive wine filter that just looks like an individually wrapped little tea bag that you unwrap and you put it in. It has a little string, and then you put it in the wine glass and you leave it there for 5 minutes. I usually leave it for 10 just to be sure. It's gotten everything.
Like also the queen of timers. There's always so many timers. Like, well, this is the wine filter timer. This is this timer.
Yeah. If I have something in the oven and I gotta have a wine filter going, we do like a lot of timers in the house. Okay, so anyway, I had put a wine filter in my purse because I was like, Eric is driving. We don't even have 2 cars. I can have a glass of wine at this family dinner.
And I still got like 2 more days until my kid turns 21, so she can't drink either. Ha!
Which is really funny because you're bringing up like making drinks for Ethan. Ever since Sarah turned 21, like 3 days ago or whatever, I'm like, would you like to try this? Would you like? And she's like, no. Stop being such an alcohol pusher. What are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I just wanted you to like.
It's legal now.
because we went out to dinner on her birthday, but she didn't want to get a drink. Later, I was like, would you like a little sip of it? No. I'm like, okay. I mean, who cares? She can do whatever she wants, but I apparently feel like, what if I make you a white Russian or a black Russian or Bailey's or like, I don't know.
It was such a bigger thing in our era, I think, to turn 21 and start like drinking legally. A lot of kids I know are not, alcohol does not seem to be.
She's not super interested for sure.
It's interesting to them.
Well, so
that's all.
Anyway, back to, I was in the living room pulling apart my purse, trying to find this wine filter because I was positive that I put it in there and then I couldn't find it. So yes, I was looking at my phone to try and find the text, but that was quickly abandoned when I realized there were so many group texts and no matter how far back I scrolled, I couldn't find the stupid thing.
About salad.
And it was already too late.
Did you just do a search for salad?
I didn't even know you could do that. You could do that?
Yeah.
And it'll be like, here's where salad was mentioned.
Here's a Wikipedia page on salad. Here's a Netflix show on salad. Oh, do you want to search your own phone? Yes. I want to search my damn phone.
Turning it into a joke. In your text, you can just search things.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Okay, well, I could have tried that. Anyway, regardless. It was partly looking for that text, but also looking for that wine filter. And then when I couldn't find it, Sarah went in and looked and pulled my whole purse apart and also couldn't find it. I called Eric because I knew he was driving back to the house to get the cake, but I was afraid that I had waited too long, that he had already gotten the cake and turned back around. So when I asked him, where are you? I didn't understand that he was still on the way there. And then I was like, oh, well, I can't find my wine filter, so I guess whatever. Turned out he could have gotten me a wine filter because he was still on his way there. I was like, what is happening? Anyway, it was a total fiasco. But he did bring the cake back, and I didn't have a glass of wine. So.
But no salad.
And because we didn't make a salad. It's not like we forgot
now you
it.
won't have a glass of wine unless you have that filter in there.
Correct. Yeah. So John is right in that we go out to dinner every once in a while, particularly with this one set of friends of ours, and they like to go to steak places, and I love a glass of red wine with a steak. So I will bring a wine filter to the restaurant and put it in the wine. And the first time I did it, the waitress was like, what's that? And I had to do my whole spiel on what it is and why it's so great. And she's like, oh my God, I'm going to get that for my mom and me because we totally, I think, have that problem. I'm like, it's great. So anyway.
And you do notice a difference.
Oh yeah. I mean, hugely. Mm-hmm.
And mom actually had wine for you to drink because it's not like mom has a big bar
I would have,
back. John, this is not an unheard of thing that mom would not have current wine.
Not unheard of. Oh, current. I mean, just look, you're just off on your own wavelength.
Okay, so if it's not
I think you have it wrong. She might have only the most current 2022.
Brand new wine.
Brand new
current,
from Sutter Home.
No, yeah,
because
whatever.
There are two categories that sometimes it falls into. It's like the Grunschaminer White Zinfandel, and you're like, I don't even want this freaking wine. Or like, how long has this been around and been open for? Is it now vinegar?
Well, yeah.
So I will typically bring a bottle of wine when I go to mom's if I want a glass of wine.
Well, maybe that's why she has some wine. So
we're gonna start making this. It's not a potluck. It's like just bring your own whatever you want because we're giving you nothing.
BYOW.
Everything.
Bring your own whatever.
I don't know if we talked about it before, but I think we talked about it on the previous podcast. It's like
you like to upgrade it a little bit. You like
upgrade it. I mean, it was chicken and mashed potatoes.
Like bread.
All right. If we're theoretically getting back on track of what this first Sunday dinner was.
Okay.
All right.
And I wasn't even there, so yes. How did it go?
Well, initially, for some reason, I thought it was going to be early. The call time was 6:45, which is not early.
No.
And I thought because our nephew William is in town and he has to get up early to go to job location, I think he's getting up at like 4:30 or something. I was like, oh, dinner will probably be at 6 or, 5:30. No, it was. And William was not there, so that was not even a factor. So
and there was a holiday the next day.
Yeah, right. So he didn't even have to work, so it probably would have been late. Anyway, yeah, so it was 6:45. I think we got there 6:45, 7-ish, like in that window of on time-ish. And chickens were still coming out of the oven or like whatever. John, obviously you can have more of a timeline, or Eddie, one of you.
There's a certain amount of mom has a real hankering for hot food. It's hot food, then it needs to be hot, right? Like immediately out of the oven, onto a fork, into her mouth, really, really hot.
But yeah, doesn't want it ready super early.
Yeah,
I understand.
Partly that's chickens are getting cooked to the minute that we can sit down. but then they also have to get carved.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
a
there's the 10 to 15 minute window of after they're cooked. People are here.
Well, almost any chef will tell you for any piece of meat. Sorry, John, you're rolling his eyes. They're supposed to rest.
Yeah, rest. Mm-hmm.
And part of it is you're going to burn yourself trying to carve it, number one. But also there is sort of a retraction or retention of the natural juices staying in it. If you cut it right away, it's like, and
it all escapes.
Yeah. So there has always been a theory, and most chefs follow it, that you got to let the piece of meat rest for a few minutes. But, no, mom typically...
Then it's also like twofold. Like I'm 85% of the way finished, carving all the meat off of this chicken, / well past what everyone's going to eat at the dining room table right now. But there's more to get off before we make the soup. So let me just
keep working on
pulling
it.
all this chicken off for 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
Sure, but to speak to this specific instance, as usual, in the oven late, so that's the real basic problem. We did actually let it rest, and we didn't have to do gravy, so that did.
Oh, I heard about their no gravy.
Well, there
was no
potato
mashed
salad.
potatoes.
Yeah.
That's what I heard about too.
Okay, so wait, let's go back to
85 or
all
90
Romans
degrees all
are
day.
disinvited.
Let's go back to who was there and
I
how.
need to make,
Okay,
we're
sorry,
making
go ahead.
an important statement that Romans are not allowed to come anymore because she's talking about the little stinker who, is my pina colada spiked. Was it the chicken and mashed potatoes with gravy, all perfectly as I would like it? So no thanks.
Oh, but here's the
could
thing.
have known coming into it, and he was an add-on. So thanks for everything.
He wasn't on the group text, and the group text did not say mashed potatoes. It said potato salad, so he can stay home if he's going to be disappointed.
He was
also,
not disappointed.
He didn't help with the dishes, so also disinvited.
Did you ask him?
To Uncle Disinvite. Yeah, on the podcast 3 weeks ago.
You asked him to help with the dishes?
I explicitly said next time you show up, maybe your teenager can help with the dishes.
I wasn't there to tell him, so you could always ask.
Irrelevant. I told you. You get to pass the message along, dear mother.
No. So, no, he was unaware. And because I was not going, I didn't really factor in notifying him it was potato salad. But, it goes back to, you were just going to say, Catherine, who went?
Right.
Well, I didn't know the Foggs, Rosie, our sister and her husband, and one of their sons, Luke, was even going to go. She called me during the day and said, what time are you getting to Mom's? And I said, oh, I'm not going. She's like, what? And I'm like, no, I said weeks ago I wasn't going. Mark has a friend's 4th of July party tonight. She says, oh, is Ethan going? I said, no, it's adults. She goes, oh my gosh, Luke's going to freak out that there's no kids. I go, well, maybe Sarah and Adam are going. She's like, oh my gosh. I go, well, why don't you come pick up Ethan and take him with you? So that's how Ethan got on the bandwagon.
Luke wasn't even theoretically coming either. Yeah, you guys really pay attention to these group texts. It's so impossible. It was just, I don't know why Rosie didn't see that you said you weren't coming, but it was supposed to be just Rosie and Kirk. So Luke was even an addition.
Got it. So Luke was a surprise, Ethan was a surprise, and Eric was a surprise. Are those the 3 add-ons?
Surprises.
Yeah.
No,
well.
Ethan just said he doesn't really like potato salad, period, yet. I mean, I just think it might be a vinegar thing.
Oh, yeah,
and he's
for
a little
sure.
young.
We also do a real specific, no mustard, no eggs. No.
Oh, well, I don't think those would be bonuses for a
No,
14-year-old.
for sure.
help.
I'm just saying, we also do something he couldn't get used to by getting potato salad at a store. We are off book.
Yeah, because my potato salad that I make tastes similar to Mom's, but then I add bell peppers to Kirk Fogg's chagrin. But I actually
and mine. I am not.
I
a bell
pull
pepper
them aside and I give him some without bell peppers,
like a clean version.
Right. So Ethan he came home. I said, "How was dinner?" He goes, "Well, the chicken was good, but there was no mashed potatoes and gravy. It was potato salad." And I said, "Well, for summer, that makes a little more sense."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, was there a green salad?" And he goes, "No."
Thanks, Aunt Catherine. Wah, wah.
So
listen, we didn't knock it out of the park for the first one,
but we did it
after 2 years. But it started. So
yeah, I mean that was also. I mean, Grandma also pulled another I think people were already there, and it was like, shouldn't we have bread? I was like, no,
Too late.
Too late to do that.
why don't you start, Mom? Why don't you bake it right now? Why don't you knead it?
No. She was going straight to a sandwich loaf of bread that she was pulling out. I'm like, no, put that away.
Stop.
We're not having- yeah, no, 100%.
For what?
Just to have bread. Oh my!
In her mind, it's
No,
fine.
you can't. No, I mean it's a dinner roll or a nice baguette. You can't be.
But also,
bread.
we didn't have to accommodate as many family members in the gluten-free category, but we did ask Rosemary, our sister who is in that tack, to bring her special flour. So that's what we used on the chickens, and it passed Ethan's radar without him knowing.
Oh, I use
Same as your turkeys in Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I use gluten-free, almost like flour substitute on the holidays because of sensitivity with certain family members, and now we've got 2 people that have celiac, so
it's going to be much more vigilant.
Well, I'm going to really try to. I mean, really, Thanksgiving. When I think about it, there isn't flour in a lot of. It's a lot of root mashed vegetables.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do the gravy, then you're good to go.
Which I've told you, John.
Well, that's what we have been doing at Thanksgiving, and then now we didn't have the celiac people, and we also didn't have gravy, but then we're planning a future of doing that.
Yeah.
My only note is for some reason because it might be like tapioca. I'm not really sure what it is.
Arrowroot, something
it is
really firms up.
Thickener, man. I mean, the next day your gravy is like gelatinous, like a Jello gravy. You're like, well, okay.
Yikes!
I gotta melt that back down. So that's all.
How many scoops of gravy would you like on top of that?
Kind of, but yikers. But so that's great. How'd your cake go over though? Once it got there?
Oh, everyone loved the cake. I mean, it was really. It's a winner.
So it's not 2 layers, which is typical.
No, I mean, which is also nice because it's easy for her to make. It's like she just puts it in the one rectangle pan, waits for it to cool. I mean, bakes it and then wait for it to cool, and then just frost the top, you're done. So, although I got in trouble because I apparently cut the slices too small. So, okay, anyway.
Now, did you sing happy birthday to her?
We did, much to her chagrin. She was not very into that idea. We did 1 candle, which was, of course, a fiasco to find the candles, but because I didn't really plan ahead. Whoops.
Mom doesn't have her basket or her little bag of candles still?
Underneath everything else that got organized in the last 2 years because we haven't needed to pull it out.
Oh.
So it was buried. It was where she thought it was, and I just didn't dig deep enough when I would look the first time.
She's got our mother, maybe like a lot of you in your house, she has a bag of candles that,
partially used
and burned. But, if you have a 2 or an 8 or a 5, maybe you have a 1, and you have a couple of tropical trees and a ballerina, the old candle bag, you can really decorate a cake. So Mom said she had those, I mean, come on, those little dancing ballerinas where they kind of held up a little candle.
They're not still in there, are they? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, they are. They don't hold up anything, I think.
I think
not anymore.
Yeah, I think it's not anymore. It's like, we had those for like 20 to 30 years. I can't believe they've not been cleaned out.
I'm going to have to go back and see if there's a picture of a birthday cake with the ballerina candle holder things that you're talking about. Because there should be one. We have
there should be multiple.
There's a picture at every single birthday cake for solid, at least until the mid 80s, until John was born. Then forget this.
Yeah, then because she got in the tropical trees.
Well,
there was
she
like
got
some
it for
trees.
Yeah,
Dad
for
turning
Dad
55.
Was that it?
And
it was like on a hammock
or
something.
This dude in a hammock with 2 palm trees on a cake.
I still that was on a cake for Mark
yeah.
at one point too. I mean, like it's
still around.
For many people. That's like the candle we had. You might have a candle cupboard in your house, and up until recently, Mom had some classic ones. But even when I'd be sentimental about it, we'd be like, I don't want to get rid of the little pilgrim. I don't want to get rid of the little like Christmas angel. But like half his face is melted off. Like this, maybe we should let this go. And it's like, of course, the Advent, like the pink and purple candles, like
half burnt down.
Oh yeah, vase. I mean, it's like okay.
Well, look, if there's ever a power outage, we've got a lot of half burnt down tapers that we can use.
But here's the thing, we just haven't timed these power outages to a holiday. We need a Thanksgiving power outage that we could use all those Thanksgiving candles.
Yeah.
Oh, light the pilgrim right now. Oh, and also that turkey candle.
Perfect.
Oh, the turkey. See, like you kind of like I don't want to get rid of them. You like I don't want to burn it, but you put it out on the table's like decoration. You're like, okay, just burn them.
No,
burn
you
it.
Don't. I mean, you're
It's
not
40
supposed to
years
light
old.
them, are you? No.
Aren't you? Why does it have a wick?
Also, if it's 40 years old, I'd be scared to burn it because who knows what's in that wax when there was less
This is made with
awareness.
solid lead.
Oh my gosh, are you? I think
What's this paint on here? Ugh, I don't know.
Well, there's that.
I mean,
Ooh, Antiques Roadshow. Do you take old candles?
Let's evaluate this. This antique from the 1960s Vintage Hallmark.
This is the
It was a
only
gift
candle
with
left because everyone
purchase.
else freaking used them, you weirdos.
Yeah.
So now this is a collector's
It's a
item.
collector's item, exactly. Well, so
Don't burn it.
this cake had one single, not the super skinny kind of little birthday candle, but like kind of a more robust, cute little candle, but just one.
21.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a Charles.
Oh God, we probably could have.
It wasn't like a
cobbled together 21.
Charles Dickens walking around at night size candle. It wasn't like
No.
a real big
No.
one, though. That'd be awesome, though.
But not the like super small birthday candle style candle. So yeah, we brought it over and sang to her, and she blew it out and wanted to kill me later for that. But
Why?
I don't know. She didn't want the attention, but it was like anyway. So and then
Because where'd you go for her birthday dinner?
we went to Maggiano's.
Maggiano's.
Yeah, she likes pasta. It was kind of a last minute thing. She was like, in the afternoon, she's like, I think I could go out. Because there was a point where she was like, I don't want to do anything. We're like, oh, geez. Okay, well, we'd like to mark this momentous occasion in some way, but it's not really up to us if she's like, well,
You can't-
because sometimes she's not feeling well.
Right.
And, you just got to be like, okay,
Did
So-
you have a glass of wine at Maggiano's and put a filter in it?
I did not.
What?
I know. Well,
Italiano. You
I
get
did have a
red
glass.
wine.
I had a glass of wine when I got home. So.
Oh, God. Well, because Maggiano's
You're
is
a
one of those
cheapskate.
places that goes, do you want a
That's part of it.
6 ounce or a 9 ounce?
I know.
Which is kind of brilliant of them because then you're like, I'll do the 9 ounce, which will then cut back on me ordering 2 glasses of wine. But it's
But
a
will it? Oh,
huge
yeah.
glass of wine. I've done it, and Mark will look at me like, "Do you need another glass of wine?" I'm like, "No,
No, that was plenty.
maybe 9 ounces is not that much, but it feels like a substantial glass of wine.
A heavy pour.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah. So anyway,
I texted her because she's my goddaughter, but I don't think I actually really realized it was her 21st.
Yeah. Shocking to all of us, including her. She's very surprised. She's like, "What? 21? That seems so old?" I guess is what she is
Oh,
saying.
it's
I
so
know, well,
young. You're like
Yeah.
old.
So-
give me a break.
It was funny because she recently babysat for some kids, which was a whole side story of ridiculousness.
She babysat?
Exactly. This is not her wheelhouse at all. But our friends needed somebody, so
They needed an adult body there.
yes. And they have 2 very rambunctious little boys. And at some point, they were like, "How old are you?" And she's like, 19. And later, she was like, "Oh, I'm 20. I forgot how old I was."
Well, the last few years, I feel like
People
people,
are
have
doing
sort
that,
of lost track of their birthdays because there hasn't been celebratory or it's been sort of wah-wah or,
Yeah.
It's-
Everything's kind of mushing
It's all
together.
blended together.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so I don't know. So then is there another Sunday dinner?
It should be next month, right?
Yeah.
What? It's going on from now on.
Unfortunately, that
right?
one also will time out with
What,
birthdays.
John?
Like a whole bunch of birthdays.
Will there be another one of the monthly first Sunday?
Well, I mean, is it Labor Day where I'm going to have plans?
Here's the deal.
No, it's August.
It's not
So
about
Labor Day's in
whether
September.
It's not about whether it's convenient or not. Sorry, you
And
can miss
also,
all
yeah.
of them if that's how it works out. It's
The
up to
whole-
you.
Right. The whole idea is come or don't come. If you can, great. If you can't, don't worry about it.
Text
Theoretically.
possible salad options, then just show up with a cake. It's fine. Make more friends with cake, that's for sure.
Well, that's true. I mean, the cake was appreciated. And it was that was like a last minute thing too, because I also wasn't sure she was going to, have the energy to make it. Because she had said, "Oh, I think I want to make cake." And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say anything until she has made the cake. So like pretty much once she like committed and started making the cake, I'm like, we'll be bringing cake.
Yeah, there was also. I mean, look, we're talking about a lot of the negatives. Overall, it was totally positive, and people had a great time.
Oh, it was fun.
Seemingly.
Seemingly.
Well, whatever. I mean, it seemed like they're having a great time. Maybe they're secretly hating it. I don't know.
Eric
But
was very chatty, which was out of character for him. But anyway, go on, John.
I was just gonna say to mention another negative because on that text chain where you said I'm bringing ice cream,
You mean cake?
right? That's where I'm going. Yes, that you were gonna bring cake. Then someone chimed in with somebody better bring ice cream. It was like, what? No, this is too late to be demanding things. Granmary.
There was no ice cream with it because Granmary does
There-
like cake and ice cream.
There was ice cream, but I think, did Rosemary bring it?
So she did actually bring it. I didn't.
Yeah.
know. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
but that's funny. I didn't realize that it was a call out. Somebody better bring ice cream. It's like, well, lady, if you want ice cream.
I think she might have like said to Rosemary or something. And it was like,
It's possible, oh, you're
was
coming?
wild.
Could you bring somebody better bring ice cream?
Oh my God, hilarious.
Yeah, so it's the first Sunday of the month dinner. and now it's BYOW. FSOMBYOW. Got it. Okay, got it.
What the hell does that stand for?
First Sunday of the month, bring your own whatever. You want to bring a salad, bring a fucking salad. You want to bring wine, bring wine.
Okay.
Bring everything.
Bring nothing.
But also send a text out with those letters, and
that no one will know what that means. But yeah,
as we've already established, though, look, first Sunday is primed to run into holidays and whatever. So that is just the way it goes. New Year's, Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July, like they're all at the beginning or end of the month, and therefore going to be not convenient.
Yeah, well, speaking of holidays, okay, so 4th of July, it was so cute. Who organized it? Was you, Liz, who sent out?
There's been, I live in an area called Calabasas, and for quite a few years, there is sort of a fun run around a little private lake in the area. Now, I'm not a morning person. Mark will get up and do anything in the morning. God love him, he just goes with the flow, whatever's happening. Ethan, in the later years, is not a morning person either. And they did not have it the last 2 years because of COVID. So once I saw that it was coming back, I was like, you know what? I want to do this. It'll be a fun thing to do on 4th of July morning, kind of kick off the morning. What, John?
I said to Katherine that day, but the amount of pylon that you put on that weekend was...
I it's been a weird, because you know how social I am. And COVID has like gotten me out of my rhythm. And so it is an odd sort of getting back in the groove. But it was like, it's 4th of July weekend. And it's also, I realized in some ways in my family, if I'm not sort of the one planning or motivating or bringing it up...
It won't happen.
It's not that it won't. I mean, Mark is totally social, and we're very good friends with, he has a large group of friends from grade school and high school still. But, it's a weird thing where a lot of times the matriarch of the family might be the person that's heading up the social calendar.
Right.
So, yes. Quite often it's me with my suggestions and my directive for social.
And also the follow through to like make it happen.
Right. And with teenagers, I don't know if any of else you've experienced this. I'd love to hear from our listeners as well. Their motivation to leave the house and do activities is low. So if you are not planning it, they are for sure. I mean, I'm sure there's an exceptional teenagers who are like, hey, family, let's go on a hike. Let's go to the beach. Like a lot of teenagers are like, hey, I want to roll out of bed, have breakfast, go sit on the couch, then roll back to my room. It's like, oh my gosh. So I was like, yes, I saw the fun run was back up and going. And I'm like, I want to do this on 4th of July morning. And also for Southern California, I could see that it was not going to be extremely hot. And it started early enough in the morning. It's like, okay, you'll be done and it'll be fun. So then I threw it out to some other family members, knowing that Virginia was out of town. Rosie was hosting a friend's 4th of July. So I wasn't surprised that she said, no, it's going to be too much. So I said, okay. So all of us Knackers did it. Knack Entertainment, that's our production company. So Eddie, John, Katherine, and myself. And then you brought Adam.
Yep.
And then Mark and Ethan came as well. And so we all organized ourselves. But I did not understand. They had seriously like 4 different things. It was like the 4-mile run, the 2-mile run, the 2-mile walk, the kids run. I'm like, when does this start? So I thought it started at 7:30 in the morning.
Which was, I was still down to do it, but I was like, ooh, that's
sounds
rough.
alarming, but I was like, we'll be done.
Well, I was down to do it, but I also misunderstood the pylon factor. I thought it was like, oh, this is like a big weekend. We're doing this event on Sunday at this park, and then there'll be a fireworks thing. So I showed up at 7:30 on Sunday, the wrong day, and then found out it was not at 7:30.
Actually, on 4th of July.
Even better.
Yeah, 4th of July, Monday. Which I wouldn't have been surprised if it was Sunday but it's a national holiday. Most people really do recognize it, and it's always been on 4th of July. So organize it, and then we start getting emails because we had all decided we were only going to do the 2-mile fun walk.
Yeah,
fun walk. And that started at 9:30.
Yeah,
so
which was great.
Oh, well, this is doable. But at the same time, I'm like, I really hope it doesn't already get, because sometimes in LA, 10 a.m.,
it's already super hot.
It could be like 90 degrees. So I was like, oh, yikers. But luckily, beautiful weather. We all wore matching T-shirts, all showed up. And then, yes, the pylon was, I thought, well, it's also our parents' anniversary on July 4th. So knowing that I wasn't going to see Mom, I didn't see her at the Sunday night dinner the night before, and I wasn't going to see her on 4th of July evening. And I had no idea. The city of Calabasas did an awesome job. I mean, like, forget it. I would not have gotten bagels or anything because, I mean, they had like a full like bakery practically after you finished your fun run walk.
Many fun runs do a similar style.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
nice.
it was no beer garden. It was a carb garden, but that's still good.
A carb garden, yes. So it's nice. But so I thought, okay, so a few days before I threw it out to Mom, I don't even think it was on a group text. And I said, hey, a couple of us are doing this walk in the morning. Then we're going to come back to the house and have like bagels and fruit and a quick little brunch on 4th of July if you can come. And I didn't hear from her. I didn't get a little dog emoji or a little bear emoji either. Yay, I didn't get anything. So I didn't really anticipate her coming. And so I really just left it to just us. And then kind of that morning I realized, I'm like, hey, a lot of baked goods here. So then that's when I threw it out to my mother-in-law came by. And Rosie and Kirk, who lived 2 minutes from our house, I thought they might just want to come down and grab a bagel because they're putting together their party. They came. And then, Eddie, you told me Mom was going to come.
She and I had talked about it. And even though she does have her own pylon on that day, she's like, yeah, I could figure that out. I can slot that in between Mass and making deviled eggs for the event that I'm taking for a lunch that I'm going to with 2 other people. Yeah. I could slot in a coffee. No.
Good grief.
No.
That didn't happen.
And the crazy thing is that she's releasing this message. It's like, I got locked out of my house. The deviled eggs took longer than I thought. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
God.
lady. So yeah, no, that fun run was very nice. It was a fun activity. It felt very, fun, patriotic.
And then did you see fireworks? They had fireworks there, but did you do something else?
No. Then we went up to Rosie's house. It was like her friends, all of her like family friends that she's met through her kids' school years and stuff like that. And I did what I trying not to do. It's like, know thyself. Don't look at me, John.
Well, I think you're right. Yes, I heard something before, and then I saw something after that gave me this clue. So go ahead. It's your deal.
I know thyself, but yet I try to deny myself. So I said, there's no way I'm bringing appetizers because I'm usually not on time, much less early. And I feel like if you're going to sign up for appetizers, you better be there close to the call time. And yes, she only lives 2 minutes from me.
That doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Now, I've started my morning early on this walk. I've now had people over for brunch. I'm trying to kick everybody out. And then I'm going to relax for an hour or two. Rosie called me and she's like, okay, I was calling it for 3 o'clock. I'm like, that's really early. She goes, well, I'll push it to 4. And I said, but you're not having little kids who are swimming and no adult's going to get in your pool, really. So really 4 o'clock. She's like, oh, really? I go, well, fireworks won't be till 8 or 9 o'clock. When are you going to barbecue? And basically, the back end of this, she was saying, should I have appetizers? I'm like, you have to have appetizers. People are going to be drinking for like 3 hours. Like, and she goes, well, I'm going to make a cheese pie. I go, I'll make something too. What? Why, Liz? No, stop, pull back, reverse, rewind, erase. Nope. So I think I'll just do chips and dip and make it easy. It is not in my nature. I cannot do it. It's like, I go, Mark, pick up that little, just that celery and carrot pack that's already pre-cut. No, those are already all gone, and what's left, it looks horrible. So, of course, we have to buy fresh ones and cut those up.
Oh, geez.
I have to make a whole platter. I decide I'm going to make spinach dip, too, because I'm like, I think French onion is more fall one, but everybody likes French onion. I lost my mind. So, one of our mutual girlfriends, had called me. She's like, what time are you guys going to go? And I said, around 4-ish. I guess she got there 4:05 was the first person to arrive.
No.
She's like, how am I here before you? And you're bringing appetizers. It's a total train wreck. So, yes, I stupidly brought appetizers and arrived at 4:40. I can't do it, you guys. Someone has to stop me unless it's my own house. I can't do it. But of course, they were delicious.
You totally could have done it. It was the pylon. It was having an entire spread beforehand and a 2-mile walk.
I inherited it from Mom.
I know. I'm just saying, you could have done it. You don't exactly have your sous chef up and running yet. You need to work on Ethan. He could have helped out with that.
Mark is always awesome. But yes,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Mark's great, but you've got a sous chef in the wings, and he's now tall enough that he can get things around the kitchen and move stuff and help you, but not necessarily actually do the cooking stuff. You need to enlist
Have you not heard about his genius report? He is a cook.
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
Genius report for 8th grade was how he's a cook. It's the old caterer in me, which sometimes, because when you have a catering company, this is my other lifetime ago, I had all different assistants over the years. And a lot of times you'd have to stop yourself delegation because you'd end up doing it yourself because it's faster, quicker, you knew it. So I still can have that tendency when it comes to stuff in the kitchen. So I have to stop myself and delegate. And that's why sometimes Mark and I are like butt heads, or we kind of stay out of each other's way when we're cooking.
Like, get him up to speed on some julienne and some, getting that vegetable.
He's a Boy Scout, the knife skills,
get
right.
That kid up, get him ready.
You're right, the knife skills. Don't shake your head, John.
First of all, if anyone's going to end up in the chef spot wearing the hat and like going the full-blown, what's the actor's name? Bradley Cooper route.
Oh,
John.
God.
Ethan. I can totally see Ethan.
Right.
Not exactly a nice thing to say, but sure.
So, no, we saw fireworks in Rosie's backyard, faces Calabasas High School.
Oh, nice.
And they did do fireworks this year.
Oh, cool.
So it was very close and very nice. It was great. But by this point, when you make something, sometimes you're not as excited to eat it yourself. So I didn't eat a lot of appetizers. So at one point, and like it was like an open bar, and I had obviously gotten up early and had some carbs, so that helped. I was like, ooh, I'm buzzed. So then I was like not really hungry. So then I ended up standing behind the bar talking to this one girlfriend, our girlfriend Lainey, and she's like, who brought these mini tacos and nacho cheese and salsa dip? I brought that too. When I say it was out of control, this amount of shit I brought. And now we're in there, I'm like, these are like the little Jack in the Box tacos that you have. So good. So by the time dinner came, and Mark will probably never get forgiven for this, Rosie will consult with Mark on what to buy for parties. And so she was going to Costco, and Mark goes, don't buy just the Hebrew International hot dogs. He goes, get the Costco brand, which are, I'm sorry, it's going to be crass. Kirk coined them the donkey dicks. I mean, they are so huge. So Mark talked him into buying those. I mean, I think I burped those up for 2 days. I mean, like, you can't, like, they're just horrible. I was like, Mark, when you've had tons of appetizers and you maybe want half a hamburger and a little hot dog, like, that's what 4th of July is about. You cannot have a half a pound of, like, the Costco dog's like a half pound beef hot dog that they sell their little stand outside, their, kiosks outside. So then if you buy them inside, it's the same thing. And of course they don't sell the matching buns. It's like a Father of the Bride. So it's like you're dealing with a classically normal sized bun with the biggest freaking hot dog in it. So it's like, I swear to God, it was like, Rosie's like, this stupid hot dogs Mark made me buy. I go, oh my God, Mark, you're never going to live down. Of course, I don't know where they ended up, but I mean, I said, maybe Mark loves leftovers. I'm like, they're probably in our freezer and I don't even know it.
Oh, probably.
I have no idea. So that's kind of, what did you guys do for 4th of July?
I ended up staying home. I usually take Adam to, there's a local fireworks show and you have to park kind of far and then walk in and then they're like right overhead. And I've done that. I think I did it last year and then previous to COVID. And then for some reason, I think, wasn't there a shooting or something on 4th of July? And Eric was like, please just stay home.
Yes, there was that tragic shooting.
He didn't want me to go to a big event.
The parade that unfortunately happened.
So we stayed home and it was very underwhelming. But, Adam was like, fine.
He did the walk in the morning. He was
fine. It was good that we did that because it felt like we did something festive and, so that was my 4th of July.
Yeah, I definitely had lost the 4th of July vibe by the end of the day because it is our mom's and dad's anniversary.
Right.
So it was like, all right, let's sit down, have a nice dinner, and we'll watch some TV or something like that. I honestly don't even remember what we did. We didn't watch fireworks. We've done that the last couple of years where, you're kind of stuck inside and not necessarily going out or there aren't things. So I've hung out with mom the last 3 years in a row. This year was like fireworks. Ugh.
How many years would they be married this year?
64, so
wow,
almost 60 years.
That's
just
crazy.
short.
Wow.
I mean, who gets married on 4th of July too? That's a lot of pressure.
Well, for years, didn't they tell us that the fireworks are for our anniversary? I mean,
yes, that was a little kid. You're like, wow,
this is cool. Oh, this is not
I will
true.
say that the only thing that I ever really truly miss from 4th of July is the family outing with Jacques Subs to Serenia Park and seeing Woodland Hills Country Club's fireworks, which was, I don't know, maybe stopped 30 years ago. But I remember that as a kid. Like, that was the outing. We would get these Subway sandwiches, and we'd go to the park, and, like, we'd all hang out there, and it would be an afternoon at the park with the fam. And then there was, like, fireworks right there. That was great when that stopped.
Yeah, there's a lot of places that used to do fireworks and they pulled back. So it's almost sometimes like finding the fireworks. We went to the Hollywood Bowl over the weekend as well. Steve Martin and Martin Short.
Oh, right.
They have a huge fireworks show that they do behind the big bowl.
Very cool.
Oh, I was just going to ask when you planned to go to that concert.
I think like a few days before. So it was a pile on.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. I think I realized like, you know what I want to do? Well, because I love Steve Martin and Martin Short.
We got a night free. We got to pack
exactly
it in.
how I felt. And I like to go to the Hollywood Bowl at least once or twice a season. Sometimes it's for a concert, but when they're movie nights, it just depends. Then we bring Ethan. And you know what, Ed? We made little miniature subs that were very reminiscent of Jocks. So Jocks was a little sub shop off Topanga Canyon.
A husband and wife, right?
Yeah. And Jacques, unfortunately, went like insane.
What?
I think the FBI, like he threatened to kill like a president. Like, yes.
Wow. Okay.
Mom got more of the story, right?
He does, I mean, if they don't appreciate crunchy bread.
Oh, seriously. So it went way south at some point. But he did make some of the best subs and miniature little pizzas when we were kids ever.
Yeah.
And then, so yes, reminiscent. I kind of can do almost like similar to him now. And the Hollywood Bowl, the fireworks show was awesome. I mean, it's just right in front of you, and but it's big. It's great.
Nice.
Yeah. So I recommend that if you get a chance to add on to your 4th of July weekend.
In case you don't have enough things going on.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's put a pin in the catch up for now.
Just put a cap on that.
Oh, my God. Oh, wow. How did I not see that coming? All right. Well, thank you for listening to Family Dynamics. And you can follow us on all of our social media at Family DynamiKs with a K. And we have a Patreon. And you can find us on Patreon and become a patron, an honorary family member. And
Yes, join the family.
yeah. And you can hear our other little stories on Patreon. So thank you for listening to Family
Family
Dynamics.
Dynamics.